Video game controllers. Back at the beginning of time, aka 1978, this was the game controller for the most popular console in the world. It's got one button on it. Almost analog stick, that's pretty cool. They didn't add that back until like halfway through the PS1's lifetime. Back when dinosaurs were roaming the earth back in 1978, basically no game controllers looked the same. You had the Intellivision, which had controllers that looked like small iPods. You got the 2600 with the joystick and single button. It originally actually shipped with like a little dial thing. But you know, since we have modern technology and modern research capabilities and also a whole lot of years to look behind and say, wow, yes, maybe we could have done a little bit of a better control scheme. Basically, all controllers look exactly the same. They all look like this. I'm not just saying for PC. Like the Switch has a layout similar to this, honestly. You know, the left side, the joystick is on the top. The right side, the joystick is on the bottom. And then you got whatever Nintendo felt like doing that decade for the rest of the controller. I mean, PlayStation has had basically the exact same controller since the beginning of time. But Nintendo is like, yeah, hello. But let's go back to this thing right here. The Atari 2600 joystick controller. Now these people, you know, invented the first video game. Been around for over 50 years. Mostly just watching from the sidelines at this point, but you know, that's beyond the scope of this video. But surely, looking from the sideline, they've, you know, seen what people have been doing, what works, what doesn't. Surely, the next time they try to get to the video game industry, it's gonna go great, right? They have all this foresight, and no. The Atari VCS launched about 3 years ago. I think they've sold under 10,000 units. However, controllers, basically every controller nowadays is just an Xbox controller. Surely they couldn't have messed that up too badly, right? I have one. Welcome back to Very Dirty Desk Reviews. This is my Very Dirty Desk, and this is something that I am reviewing. Basically, Atari VCS controller. I do not have an Atari VCS because I'm not stupid. Just kidding. It's actually a very cool little machine. Just not very practical. But the controller, they sell these separately and you can connect them to a PC. Theoretically, you can connect them to an Xbox. That's exactly what I've been doing. Should you get it? Well, let me first explain why I got it. Basically, I wanted a controller for my PC. Now you'd say, why not just get an Xbox controller? Well, you see, the problem with that is that gives money to Microsoft. See, I got this because it gives no money to Microsoft, and that is always a bonus. You know, I might have Windows on my computer, but you know, what else am I gonna do? Put Linux on my computer? Gross. That's like not having an iPhone. Oh, but there's so many other options for PC. I mainly got this because I think it looks cool. I think the company that made it is interesting. They have no affiliates with Microsoft. But yeah, I just think it looks cool. Is it worthwhile? Well, at the time of recording, it's 40 bucks. It was 50, it went down to 40, and that's when I got it. So still $20 less than a new Xbox controller and $25 less than a PS5 controller, but a bargain. However, this doesn't have any speakers on it. It doesn't have any adaptive triggers, doesn't have a touchpad, doesn't have any micro texture on it, and does not have USB-C. We can't really see it, but I pinky swear there's micro USB in there. But that's all extra stuff, you know, that doesn't really affect the core functionality of a game controller. But what does interrupt the core functionality of a game controller is a D-pad that is just one big button. Yeah, people really don't like the Xbox Series controller D-pad. It's just a circle. Well, this is like that, but worse. Literally just a circle with a few dots on it. I was playing a lot of Cyberpunk when I was testing this out, and you press this button to use a healing item. And I would, while moving around with the left joystick, as you do, try to hit this button like that. And I found that I would accidentally use a healing item a lot when I was doing that, because I'd be hitting this instead of that. Because it's not separate buttons, it's just a big disc. What about everything else though? Well, everything else, it's not bad at all. With one major exception, I'll go over that in a second. But first, I'm gonna make you watch a mid-roll ad in the middle of this YouTube video. Either that, or from what I hear, there's a 25% chance that mid-roll ads won't play, so I might just look insane right now. Anyways, buttons all feel good. It honestly feels exactly like an Xbox One controller. It looks a little bit different. It's also got this like shiny reflective plastic thing here. It's just a fingerprint magnet. You know, I work in a kitchen a lot. Grease just gets stuck to this like a Jolly Rancher that you bite. It just doesn't come off. But other than all that, like, very functional, honestly. I don't have a lot else to complain about. It works. Good job. Did the bare minimum. I find that the joysticks do take a little bit of extra force to click down, and they are kind of loud. Maybe it's just because my PS5 controllers, I've used them a lot. Maybe they've just gotten a little worn down and it's easier to click them. Maybe they were like this when I got them. I don't remember. Yeah, a lot of extra pressure needed for that, but hopefully that just means that they'll last longer. So you can use this one of two ways. You can use it via the included micro USB cable or via Bluetooth. It says that everywhere on the branding. No, Bluetooth? straight up didn't work. Maybe I just have a sucky model. Like maybe it's just a me thing. It took me straight up like half an hour to connect it to my PC via Bluetooth, and then it just didn't work after that. Press a button and nothing happened. However, connecting it by a cable, like the good old days, works perfectly fine. I just plugged it in, didn't have to do anything. There's no shitty software that you need to use, no extra accounts you need to make. So they're already beating my headphones, which cost 3 times as much. Fuck SteelSeries. Yeah, you just plug it in and start screaming into your computer. It's just that easy. The bare minimum. So before I yap even more about this controller, let's do a little unboxing together. Obviously, I've already taken it out of the box, but I put everything back the way it was. You know, credit where credit is due. It seems like they went to pretty decent lengths to make the packaging mostly recyclable. I say mostly recyclable because it's a cardboard box in a plastic bag. They went through so much trouble to make everything recyclable just to put it in a goddamn plastic bag. I like the way the packaging looks. It's very colorful. Very recyclable looking cardboard box on the inside of that. Da-da-da. Wow. Another goddamn plastic bag. And also there's like this foam on top here. I've got no idea why. It makes zero sense to me. They put a bunch of foam on top of it, cardboard box. For what purpose? But yeah, controller sits like that. Get a micro USB cable underneath. You know, can't take that for granted nowadays. And then the rest of it is just a cardboard box. Just throw it away afterwards. And you don't have to feel bad about it. You only have to feel bad about the 2 plastic bags that are going to sit in the ocean for ages. But it's not like, you know, it's going to make a huge impact when this thing eventually is going to end up in the ocean anyway. And this is way more plastic. Speaking of plastic, I said no micro texture. Yeah, it's very, very plasticky feeling. However, it's really freaking durable feeling. This thing feels like it was built to withstand the gamer rage. Also, not a super great feeling USB-C cable. It really likes to retain its shape. However, pretty long cable, which is pretty great. Also, it's got this little like notch here for going into the controller, which helps like keep it in there, which is pretty great because micro USB likes to just disintegrate. Very nice feature. However, I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to get like a normal micro USB cable into there. And I don't see them selling these cables on their website. I guess I gotta take good care of this. Haptic feedback. This thing vibrates a lot. Like, it's got a lot of power behind it. Like, a remarkable amount of like torque is happening inside of this chassis. If you're a woman, you can probably use this to masturbate. If you're a guy, you can also probably do that. You know, maybe it's all software, but I'm pretty sure that my PS5 controllers do not rumble this hard. Maybe it's because it's like more subtle, but like this rumbles enough that it's like, it's noticeable that it's more than normal. Honestly, that's a personal preference if you like that or not. I don't think it's like that bad. It's not distracting. It's just noticeable. Also, battery life. It showed up on half a charge. It was fully charged in like 20 minutes. On a micro USB cable. That is actually really outstanding. Charges super quick. Bluetooth barely works, so you'll have to keep it charged at all times anyway with the cable, so call it a feature, not a bug. Battery life, never have to worry about it since it'll always be plugged in. And since micro USB does not deliver that much power, it shouldn't degrade the battery life over time that much anyway. So the games I actually played with this little device here are Cyberpunk 2077, Resident Evil 2, Starfield, and Winter Winds. Ooh, buy my shitty 99-cent game off of Steam. Link in the description. And honestly, it's really not that bad. Now, I know I complained a lot about it, but that's because I'm a white guy. I have to complain about everything. But also because, you know, I guess this is kind of like a review video, so I'm supposed to like point out the inadequacies that I might find within a product. However, other than like the subpar D-pad, which honestly, it's really not that bad, and the Bluetooth not working, I'd recommend getting one. And like I said, it gives no money to Microsoft. So that's the Atari VCS controller. I think it's pretty decent. If this video gets approximately 160,000 views, then that'll give me enough money to get an actual Atari VCS, and I'll review that too.